Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 98, and I'm afraid it's a little bit of a familiar story domestically because we're 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Nobody has dropped less than 14 points in 15 games, and despite a pretty shaky start, we are now in a pretty comfortable position at the top of the Premier League. The good news is that we've got more of a challenge in Europe. We're through, but the winner of United versus Atletico Madrid today will take top spot, and hopefully we'll get to see who we've got in the last 16 too. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we've been getting on, what on earth we've got planned for the next month or so, the January window will be open by the time the next episode comes around, then please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. We had our summer transfer special in the Hemel Hempstead save yesterday. I'll put the link to that in the eye above. Deadline day tomorrow before this returns on Monday. There's links up there too to the Twitch channel and the football podcast for regular content on both. And of course you can support the show as a channel member down below by clicking the join button if you wish to. But a massive thank you all for your incredible support as I return again with more frustration because we've actually had a little bit of an injury crisis in recent weeks. It's not showed because we've played some of the weaker teams in the league. But it's really annoying me that Chelsea and City, the two sides closest to us the last few years, have dropped 15 and 18 points now between them. We're only 15 games in, and as it stands, we're again looking at a situation where no one's going to get past 80 points, which is never going to be enough to win a title, regardless of how we do. So if we go and have a look at the schedule for what's been happening since you were last with me, you were here for the draw against Roma and the crucial win against Liverpool. Since then, it's been a sea of green. We've started to shore up defensively. We've not been hugely convincing, but given the players we've got out, given the congested fixture schedule that's now on the way, we have managed to get ourselves a little bit of a buffer. So we got a 2-0 win against Chelsea. That was a crucial one with a really good first half performance. Jalocka picked up a knock, but Mbappe and Rashford wrapped up the game for us there. Into November, we did manage to win the reverse fixture against Roma, but we got lucky. We went behind after 61 minutes. I went for the big guns. We'd rested a few, but I bought on Yakubu and Ponza and Pivati, and Yakubu had turned it round in 5 minutes. He is now the star at the club. Rashford got the third goal late on. A 4-1 win at Brentford. A red card really helped us. It was 2-1 at that stage, but we hadn't started well. Yakubu and Mbappe getting late first half braces to win us that game pretty comfortably in the end. A 2-0 win at home to Wolves. Second half goals from Bassone and Kylian Mbappe. A 5-1 win away at Dinamo Kiev. Magno Luiz, Hannibal, Russell Thompson, and Marcus Rashford and Christos Solis. A 2-1 win away at City. A late red card helped us again. Haaland had pegged us back after Amponza's opener, but in a 92nd minute against a weary 10-men side, Emmanuel Yakubu popped up with a goal again. A 4-0 win against Villa at the start of this month, Yakubu with one after an Mbappe hat-trick, and in a 6-0 win against struggling Sunderland, it was Rashford with 2, Russell Thompson with 2, and Cassell and Agumbi with 1 apiece. A pretty rotated side there. What we have got though is a few missing names and a few injuries to boot as well. Because the big one is Jesus Bassone, probably the best centre-half at the club now. But for how long? Because he got a 6 to 7 month injury. His cruciate ligament puts him out for the year. And going to be a big miss as the game starts to come thick and fast in the next few weeks. We've also had Jadon Sancho out for another 3 weeks. Inacio's out for 3 weeks. He's a week into that now. And then even just returning from injury, we've had a crisis in centre midfield with Hannibal, Jalocka and Uzun all missing. So we are a little bit short in a couple of positions. Bordenelli is currently playing centre half, and it is an area where we can't really rotate. So with 2 games a week throughout the month, there could be a slight challenge on that front. But this is a very big game in the context of the season. Can we wrap up top spot in the Champions League group, get ourselves what should be a friendlier last 16 draw? It is partly going to depend on other results though, because if Ajax finish above Real Madrid, Dortmund and Arsenal could be tit for tat. Obviously AC Milan is one we want to avoid, they are the current holders. Liverpool we would avoid if we got through. Chelsea as well, a lot of the English sides winning the group. So maybe a return to form because City battering PSG in their group too. But we've got to get our result, get ourselves into the last 16 as champions and then take care of the rest from there. So let's have a look at the side we can put out today. We're going as strong as is available, but I think we're going to have to make a couple of changes because Bavati's struggling physically. And if we're being honest, the weekend game's more important. At least we're already through in this one. I'm looking at Norwich though and thinking next midweek, maybe a chance to rest the team. Okay, so the plan here is that we're going to try and rest the defence. I know we can't rest Bordenelli, but rest those that have got a really heavy load. So Xavier Benjamin, 4 games, nearly 350 minutes in the last 2 weeks. Got to give him a breather. We can't afford to have others breaking down. Gaia, heavy match load, but available if we need him off the bench. Pavati just needs a complete rest. He's becoming fatigued and ideally could do with a week off in January at some point. Going forward, I've basically gone as strong as we can. Attacking midfield, I've had to give a rest unfortunately, so we won't be seeing Selly and Boyer today. But Casal comes in alongside what is otherwise the first choice available midfield with Kylian Mbappe ahead. So we are as strong as we can be, give or take a couple of defenders. It's Fournier in goal, Lovic and Erdogan the fullbacks with Agumbi alongside Bordenelli as centre-half, and Ponza and Jalocca reunited in the middle, Yakubu and Zolis on the wings, and then Casal behind Mbappe up front. If we can get a couple of goals up, Yakubu will be off as early as possible. So let's get into the first of today's 2 games. Not important in terms of qualification, but maybe essential later down the line as to whether we can win that Champions League trophy this year or not. And here are the teams. Osimhen still involved for Atletico Madrid. Otherwise, I think most of the other originals are on the bench or out the squad now. So Jankovic is on the bench, Garcia's on the bench, Svanberg, a few of the others not even in the squad. This is a much younger Atletico Madrid side than we saw first time around, though they gave us a pretty good game on that occasion, so maybe that's not a positive thing. I'm really intrigued to see how we compete here, because for defensively, we are potentially a little bit vulnerable. First half at Old Trafford, we need the crowd to save us. Well, corner kick for Atletico, very quiet 25 minutes here. And defensively, we have been caught out by the first chance of the game. A straight header from a corner kick at the back post, completely unmarked. And we're 1-0 down and we're losing top spot as it stands. This Atletico side, to give you an indicator, is one that we comfortably beat in the knockout stages last year. And looking now, I'd argue we've gone backwards against them as Erdogan finds Zolis down the left. The defensive frailties definitely exposed due to the injuries we've got. As Lovic finds Amponza. Casal into Zolis. We really needed that. It was a brilliantly worked goal. Casal providing the assist into the team. And we could do with a couple more like that. We had to come from behind at home to Roma. We weren't convincing away at Atletico. But the signs are looking better now. Back on top. Back in the goals. It's 1-1 and we're top of the group by a point. And in the last ditch stoppage time of the first half, we have got a corner kick into the back post. Nodded across goal again. Lovic hits the woodwork. And it's another corner kick. We're into the last 20 seconds of first half stoppages. Mbappe puts it up to the back post. Yakubu's header's brilliantly saved. Tipped over by the keeper. It's a stunning effort from the Atletico number 1. And Mbappe will deliver again to the back post. Yakubu's up. He's been denied by the keeper for the umpteenth time. Wonderful display in the Atletico goal. But it's 1-1 at half time. It's enough as it stands. But not enough that I can rest some of these attacking stars. So let's give it 15 more minutes. Hope the set piece pressure builds again. As Atletico win it back early in the second half. In a left back position. It's out to Traore who finds Osimhen. Being chased there by Agumbi, who's not a natural centre-half, and it's showing. Though the ball's back towards Yakubu, who intercepts. Long to Mbappe, he's got himself in one-on-one. Beats the defence, all ends up. And puts the finish in the bottom corner. That is one we can really enjoy. Because now, Atletico need a 2-goal swing in this game. And I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm pretty confident we're in a good position to win this. And we're back with United on the left-hand side. Just over an hour gone as Bordenelli charges out of defence with the ball. Tries to release Solis, but it's under hit. And it's back to the keeper, who can clear long down his right. Jalocca intercepts, but it's a pretty poor header. And we're looking at the fitness, thinking Yakubu, the midfield too. Do they need a rest here? As Jalocca down the wing again towards Mbappe. A third goal would let us do it. Back to Casal. And if the subs are performing like that in front of goal, we haven't got many worries to be had. He gets out the cartwheel. It's 3-1 United. And top spot should just about be wrapped up. Let's go and make the changes. Back in a minute once they're done. 2 made for now then. And Ponza given a rest in central midfield. And Yakubu on the right for Russell Thompson. Nearly said Robbie again as Jalocca will be the third. He's going to be replaced by Gaia. And I'll push Agumbi up into midfield. Gaia slots in at centre-half. and hopefully that won't make him too fatigued for the weekend as we try and hold on to the 3-1 lead, as it's an Atletico throw-in, Anthony in the middle. Space in the centre circle, but it's a poor ball which Bordenelli intercepts. He'll be getting plenty of football in the next few weeks as it's up to Mbappe, wide to Russell Thompson, pace to Burn on the right, into the box and brought down. And that's got to be a penalty kick. And if we score it, it looks like a very convincing win, something which it certainly hasn't been. Let's see what VAR does. Penalty awarded, and it should be Mbappe to take it. It is. He scored goals already. Pretty sure he's changed shirt number. He wasn't 12 before, was he? Mbappe puts it into the corner. It's a brilliant finish. And it doesn't really matter. 17 goals for the season already. Not quite the flying start he had last year, but certainly doing a job. And the Stars, who were at the Euros in the summer, are just starting to come to the party now. As Gaia gets it wide to Lovic. Had a very solid game at right back. Releases Russell Thompson, who's causing chaos with his pace down that wing. He gets in again. It's a brilliant block. It's behind for a corner kick, but with 15 to go, finally feels like the lads are starting to enjoy this one as Mbappe up to Bordenelli, loses out in the air, headed away as far as Santiago Casal, He picks it up on the left to Gaia. Back to Timur Erdogan, not the best ball to him, but he recycles it. It goes out to nowhere. I'm not really sure why we saw the last few passes of that, as we're back with Erdogan's throw again, advanced position on the left, plays it all the way to Bordenelli near the halfway line. He comes forward to a Gumby. Lovely chip ball to Russell Thompson. Across goal, it's deflected. And I've got to say, the Atletico keeper, he's had a pretty good game between the sticks. I know they've been beaten heavily now, but he's really caused some troubles. He's really denied us, but he doesn't stop that one. Bordenelli in at the back stick. Free header from a corner. And the keeper can't prevent it going in. 5-1. Bordenelli gets his first of the season. And this is starting to turn into a very good game. 4 points clear at the top of the Champions League group. It looks an awful lot better than it did 90 minutes ago. And we'll find out who we're going to draw before the end of the episode, hopefully. As Anthony throws in from the right. Can they get a consolation, the Spaniards? Into the box. Yes, they can. Osimhen finishes with aplomb. It was an easy through ball. There wasn't much marking back there. And maybe that shows Bordenelli's frailty as a central defender. He is a left-back by trade, but right-footed, and he got caught out there. A 5-2 win regardless, though. We'd have certainly taken that at the start of the night. And now it's back to the Premier League. Our former club, Crystal Palace, are next up. No longer under Niko Kovac's management. Let's see how they're getting on without him. Well, it's fitness test time as we come back for a Premier League reunion with Crystal Palace. Gary Issett, the caretaker manager, after the sacking of Niko Kovac. However, some of our midweek gambles haven't paid off. We chose to rest Amponza at the end of the Champions League game. He's now off with a cold, so won't be taking part. How frustrating can it get? We've got Hannibal just about fit, which should make up for it. And City have already played Liverpool. City won. They're up to 6 points behind us, but they're just not consistent enough. And they get so many red cards that you can't bank on them ever really getting that close. What we're going to do, though, is make the changes recommended by the assistant. We're going to put the opposition instructions on. Not many originals there, or not many players we had, sorry. Chris Tipple is the only one I recognise. Nunes wasn't there. Jonathan David, Ruben Neves, Donny van der Beek. They've continued their method of older signings. The problem is they're not really improving. If you look at this team, actually, the expected lineup, you've got Lozny at the back, Rios on the right, and Chris Tipple up front. We left, 2.5 years ago, and they've already lost 8 of that side. And I know it was ageing a little bit, but some of the better ones are gone. Of course, including Selly and Boyer, who will be on our side today. Let's go and pick our 11. Back in a minute to go through it. Okay, so today we've gone for an 11 that I think is our strongest available. Of course, the Amponza knock doesn't help us. From the week, there's a fair few changes, so let's just run through the whole team. It's Fournier staying in goal. Vivati and Gaia are back at fullback with Benjamin in alongside Bordenelli. Jaloka and Hannibal in the middle. That's, of course, due to the Amponza illness. Yakubu on the right. Mbappe up front. Zolis off the left. And Selly and Boyer back in as the number 10. Against his former club, we'll be hoping he stars. Emre Uzun back on the bench after a long-term injury. Interestingly, his stamina dropped while he was injured by 3 whole attribute points, and it's gone straight back up to that as well. Just one of the most drastic changes I've seen for a long, long time. But at 27, he can now contribute to the squad. Let's see how Palace cope without Boyer and many of the other stars we knew so well. Well, 5 changes for us, just 2 for Crystal Palace, as one of our former players, Alan Rios, comes back in there. Just looking at the bench, Shea Logger's made his way through, the youngster. They've also got Bogle in there as well. But that is 5 players out of a 20-man squad that are still at the club 2.5 years on after we left. It's not good enough, really. And that lack of continuity is probably sending them down the league. Though they are 12th this year, doing a little bit better. We got most of the lads motivated. We're through the tunnel interview into the first half at Selhurst. We were almost invincible there when we were in charge. Let's see how we get on here. As Rios has an early corner. Good start from Palace. Yakubu heads away. Crucial in both boxes. Lojny, one of our former men, to Donny van der Beek. Former United player, of course. Getting on a bit now as Tipple finds him. Good effort at goal. Fournier holds up to his right. It was pretty comfortable. It was a good height for him. And he'd already sort of anticipated it. And now he's got the chance to roll out, but he's going to go long instead. Up towards Zolis on the left. Joe Gomez wins the header. Pavati brings it down for Jaloka. Up towards Yakubu. Gets in behind the fullback. Across the box it's blocked. And it's back out to him again. Delivers in to Kylian Mbappe. Back to Selian Boyer. It had to be him, didn't it? First shot of the match on target for United. And it is Selian Boyer, the man we signed from here this summer for £68 million up front. And now we've got another potential injury. Yakubu, bruised shin, nothing muscular, so we'll stick with him for now. But Russell Thompson's there if we need him, as Ruben Neves has the ball in his own box. Big clearance, which will go straight to Xavier Benjamin. Going to be a crucial part of this team now, as both our first 2 centre-halves out for the rest of the month. And Bissone for the rest of the season, as Mbappe rounds the keeper, who was absolutely nowhere for that. Caught in no man's land, gets away with it. The shot's blocked behind for a corner from an acute angle. And Mbappe will take that. Into the back post. Jakubu's up. Valencia wins it. It's cleared as far as Boyer. He's been a start against his former club. 5 to the break. It's only 1-0. But we've been absolutely dominant. As Cobal's got it in goal for Palace to Valenti. The home side not showing much, but here they come with Darwin Núñez. Gaia intercepts the through ball. Yakubu brings it away down the right. Mbappe's with him, as is Zolis on the left. Gets to the byline. 4 in the middle. Deflects across to Mbappe. Rattles the woodwork as Palace failed to clear the first time. Lojny mops up the second though. And it is just going to be 1 at the break. It deserves to be more. It's been a scintillating display. We haven't got too much to show for it. So let's ask the lads to prove a point. Keep going in the second half. Hopefully we can add to the total because we've deserved it on the balance of play. And here we are 4 minutes into the second half as Cobalt with a big goal kick for Palace. They've left 3 up there. Rios off the inside right and then Tipple alongside Núñez up front. Jaloka wins it back though to Sonny Pavati. Forced back to Bordinelli. Options in midfield. One of them's Boyer. Over the top towards Zolis. He's really showing his class. There's Mbappe in the middle. Zolis doesn't need him. But maybe he should have used him because Cobalt makes a great save up to his near stick. And it's tipped behind for another corner kick. Mbappe will take it, the striker. Yakubu's of course a threat at the back post. But it's headed away for a throw by Valenti. The pressure continues. It's going the same way. And now we get the muscle injury. Selian Boyer absolutely ruins. He wants to stay on, but we can't do it. Him and Yakubu have got knocks. They're too important to this team. So after months out injured, should Emre Uzun make the comeback or should we go for the youngster Casal? I think we have to go young. Selian Boyer off, Santiago Casal on. That is a downgrade, whichever way you dress it up. And we're back almost immediately with Palace throwing on the right hand side. In line with halfway. Gomez short to Van der Beek. Up towards Tipple. It would be a sickening time to concede when we've had this level of dominance. And it's Shea Lodge, the youngster. He does score. 1-2 with Jonathan David. Puts it in the corner. Yakubu is absolutely shattered too. It's going to be Russell Thompson on for him. And we need a reaction because this has not been a great second half performance defensively. And we are missing our first 2 centre-halves. Of course, we're short in central midfield. But this isn't the way we want to collapse in a game. Zolis is struggling on the left. We'll bring on Rashford for a second goal threat out of the wide area. As Bordinelli wins a header. Pavati loses out though. Chris Tipple brings it down. How many times did we see this when we were in charge of Palace? The last half an hour, absolutely bulldozed teams. Come on strong and they couldn't cope. And they're still doing it here with an almost all changed side. And it's into Chris Tipple from Jonathan David. And Shea Lodge, the youngster, has changed the game. Because it is Crystal Palace 2, Manchester United 1. And we've completely collapsed. I'm going to demand more. We need a reaction fast, but there's not many players with big legs left in there. As Mbappe gets a free opportunity, unmarked at the back post from a free kick. And he whacks it straight into the keeper's arms. It's not what we needed here. And with just over 10 minutes to go, we're chasing the game. I'm not confident. I don't see how we win it. It's Coble with a free kick just outside his area. Jalocca wins the header to Rashford. We need him further up the pitch as the ball's pretty aimless towards Mbappe. And it's given away though. The keeper misplaces his pass out. Rashford to the byline into Mbappe. Blocked and cleared by Gomez. They get away with one there because we really should have been level. Let's encourage the boys. 5 minutes plus stoppage time. I can't go more attacking. I can't have more strikers on. But can we take advantage? We've lost a huge amount of that set piece threat. We've not got a lot of quality in open play without the spine of the team fit. But Castal's trying. He's down the right. Into the box he goes. And then it's that decision making. Should have laid it across. It was 3-on-3 in the middle. But instead tried to shoot. Our expected goals is 3.2. Palace's 0.75. And we have somehow found a way to lose that game 2-1. Palace scored with 2 of their only 3 shots on target. And we were wasteful in front of goal. The tired legs may catch up with us this month. I guess the only positive is that none of the other sides are going to catch us. Because the way they're playing, it won't even get close. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. And see whether there's any threat to our Premier League title. Well, as we mentioned, defeat for us reduces the gap at the top to 6 points. Can be 5 if Arsenal win their game in hand. Let's have a look at the schedule though, because we have got a very packed month. We're going to skip ahead in a minute to see who we get in a Champions League draw on Monday. But for now, we've got to focus on when we're going to be here. And I think it's going to be 2 of those last 3 games in January, because we've got transfer deadline day. We've got Arsenal who are 2nd, Liverpool who I think are 4th, and West Ham who I think are in there as well. In fact, are they 3 of the 4 sides directly below us? They are. It's 3rd, 4th and 5th. So that is definitely going to feature in the next episode. We'll pick 2 of them, but let's go to Monday, see who we get in a Champions League draw, and then we can wrap up the episode. We're back on the Monday with Selly and Boyer injured for a couple of weeks. Arsenal indeed closing the gap to 5 points at the top of the Premier League. And a good youth intake preview too. Not that that means much based on what we've seen in FM22. However, we won the Champions League group, we're seeded for the first knockout round draw. We've avoided all the other English sides, there's 5 in there, so someone must have won the Europa League too. We also avoid Hertha Berlin, Milan the holders and Real Madrid. We could face Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Inter, Atletico are in our group, they're the 4 behind our head. Then Ajax, Dortmund, Porto and PSG. Who do we want out of that lot? Probably want to avoid PSG, who did really well last year. Bayern have won it recently too. So probably Ajax or Porto. Am I being unfair there? Let's see who we get. Inter out first. Arsenal, the opponents. Bayern out second. We don't want them. They've got Real Madrid. That's a humdinger, that one. Ajax third. We'll take that. But Liverpool are the ones to get it. PSG v Milan. Another massive one at the top. Was that last year's final perhaps? And the final is in France this year, so someone big is going out there. Atletico Madrid played Chelsea. I'd imagine Chelsea will breeze that. Porto, there's the one we want. It is Manchester United. There we go. We got a lucky draw there as Barca face Hertha and Dortmund face City. But Porto, probably the draw we would have asked for. The side that have maybe done the least in recent seasons in Europe of the teams left. And maybe not quite a side on the same level as us. So Porto v Manchester United, we'll probably see the second leg of that in a few months' time. But we'll be back for the end of the January transfer window and big Premier League action. The gap has closed to 5 points at the top. But apart from the disappointment in the League Cup, we've still got the chance to battle on the 3 big fronts. So if you're looking forward to the rest of the season and you did enjoy seeing us get beaten by Palace, a proper FM job that, and please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 videos. We'll be back here on Monday after deadline day in the Hemel One Club story tomorrow. In the meantime though, there's links to the Twitch channel and the football podcast in the eye above. Please do check us out on both of those if you haven't already. But above my head now, we'll have yesterday's summer transfer special from Hemel Hempstead Town and the One Club Save. It really is turning into a spectacular series this year. And I'd love it if you could check it out. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you here next time for transfer deadline day.